What is your biggest fear when it comes to death? I don't have any issue with the idea that we get reincarnated, or if there really is some heaven or hell, fine, so be it. I could be cool with being a rock or a tree. What terrifies me, to the point I can't stand to dwell on it, is that I will lose my mind. My body IDGAF, take it. But my mind, as well as my soul if I guess to be more precise. I don't want to lose a memory I have made in this lifetime. It absolutely shakes me to my core if I think about it late at night when my normal conscious guards are down. Having death be the last memories. My aunt is dying of some kind of cancer, I forget what they called it, bone cancer I think? It was caught too late to do anything but give her medications to ease the pain. She was up and well for having cancer up until 4th of July. We all noticed she started going downhill at the get-together, and as of last night, she is in a comatose. I want to go sit with her until the time comes, but at the same time, you know, having that last memory rather still being a spitfire, the uncertainty, the fear that I truly don't know what's to come after. Will I just fade into nothingness? Or will there be some afterlife where my consciousness exists? I can prefer something, I could even believe in what feels right to me. However, I can't truly know until I die. That uncertainty, however, is something everyone must face in their lives at the end. I hope to live a long, as healthy as I can be life before that point, though. I hope you who is reading this can too, along, or conscious one, though I'm involved in that already, so, I am really not sure. Just not messy, please. If I could have my way, I would pick up after myself, so maybe teens, rocks, and deep water. I told my poor ex-wife to drive my corpse to the desert, across several state lines, for Sky Burial just dumped me there. Which is silly, because there were plenty of suitable places like that, not more than 2 hours from us. I guess it was breaking the law that got me off, that literally nothing happens. As humans, we have very little concept of what nothing means. Sometimes I lay awake, cherishing the fact that I can simply think and work out complex equations. Once I die, there's no more thinking. No more scientific breakthroughs or medical advancements to witness. However, I try to cope peacefully knowing that not living didn't bother me before I was born. Why would it bother me after I die? The wait until you die. Laying there knowing you're dying and people around you are grieving is awful. I watched my mother die that way, and I didn't sleep much for those 3 days for fear of missing her pass to be there for her until the end. I woke up to the hospice it's telling me it had happened. To this day I cannot sleep right. I just want a quick death, and if I know it's going to drag on, I'll just end up killing myself, not being there for my parents for their death. I will try to be emotionally harming anyone aware of my death. I will try not to be harmful. Not knowing what comes after. I welcome the unknown. What I am most afraid of is nothing. Not nothing in the sense that nothing happens, but rather that I will never die and continue to exist without the understanding of my previous experiences. I hope I have learned my lessons by now. I tell my husband this a lot, but I never feared death until I had kids. My parents and sisters are adults and could work through it. Not that it wouldn't be difficult, but they'd be able to get through it. My kids wouldn't understand though. And the thought of them growing up and me not being there every step of the way, the thought of it guts me. We both have become a lot more careful since becoming parents. I'm fearful of what happens afterwards. I'd like it to be quick and painless, but I'm not necessarily afraid of dying. It is where our body and soul goes after. I used to be a hardcore Christian, now I'm pretty agnostic. I believe, but I'm not sure because I've never seen any proof. Those who claim to be Christian don't live as if there's really a risk. That doesn't help those seeking the truth. I'm afraid of dying and nobody knowing that I'm dead, especially if I'm a missing person first. The thought of my family living the rest of their lives not knowing and just waiting for me until they die is awful. The thought of dying alone in my apartment and having either my landlord or law enforcement finding my decaying body several days later isn't so nice either. Death can be an anxiety-filled topic, so please read here carefully. If you're walking the atheist line but are stuck on death, read this article. It gave me a unique perspective on death, and what it might even be like given our current subjectivity of life and consciousness. I don't know what scares me the most. I dig deep into this thought and get so many what ifs, I could go on and on. Every aspect scares the shit out of me. The scariest part is that you're alone. The process is the only thing in life you might have to take alone. Every moment I want to cherish I'm afraid of forgetting. Overthinking gets the best of me. I used to work in a deli of a grocery store and I had a co-worker I really hated. We just couldn't get along for longer than a few minutes. I also hate spiders. so I'm worried that death is gonna clock me into the deli forever, working exclusively with co-workers that are giant spider versions of that one guy. It's the one thing really keeping me here. I am not religious, but I hope there is life after death. If there is nothing, then our lives are the true blessing of being born into this universe and experiencing a minuscule existence in its vastness. If our minds do move on, I hope we get to see and meet our family and friends. The most terrifying aspect of death for me is leaving my family behind. In pessimistic times I think I'll die because of civilization collapse, and then I fear for my children and grandchildren living in the world we messed up for them. Yes, I'm a boomer, but we're not all nut jobs. And please be careful, because all the nut jobs are not boomers. Even if you could wish us all away, there would be a lot of nut jobs left. If I get killed by someone else, I don't want to know that this person is about to kill me. A good example of this is war. Get randomly blown to bits by artillery or shot by a sniper. Oh well. But let's say you're wounded and an enemy pulls a gun on you, giving you a few seconds to panic. That would be fucking terrifying. I try not to think about death. I believe it's just like before you were born, you weren't sad you hadn't been born yet. When you die, it'll be the same. You'll turn back into the non-living elements you stayed as for billions of years. My only fear is that I'll die regretting what I didn't do, or what I failed to accomplish, being in pain, or getting Alzheimer's. I've known several people that have passed from it. One Jid was an engineer who helped develop the F-16. It was heartbreaking to watch this smart guy lose himself by inches, and the pain his family went through trying to care for him. I'll take being hit by a bus over that hell, being scared while it happens. I don't think dying itself is all that scary, like it wouldn't bother me to die peacefully I don't think, but dying in a scary way would be the worst. Falling off a cliff, mauled by an animal, any situation that's already scary where I'm also aware that I'm about to die. Fuck all that. How it will affect my wife and kids. I got life insurance to help financially when my income is gone, but I grew up without it. Dad walked out on us, but I can imagine if your dad dies. I never used to get emotional in movies, but after getting married and having kids even commercials touch me in the feels now. Suffering. Death is fine. Whenever. But I don't want to die slowly or in pain. No slow descent into lava. No drowning. No being eaten alive by some animal. No being slowly crushed to death in a building collapse. No slowly burning alive in a fire. No slowly freezing to death. Just get it over with. That there's nothing. I'm not religious, I don't believe in heaven or hell. I'm a secular, agnostic Jew. I just want something to come after this, another existence either on Earth or elsewhere, or some kind of afterlife where I can just relax and be around the souls or presence of the loved ones. My greatest fear is that when I meet Jesus in the sky, I'll turn back to you only to hear we played ball together. And you didn't have the guts to tell me this is how it all ends? Cliff Netchell, I'd give that as the exact quote, but it was something along those lines. Just no longer existing. At the end of the day we at least have our memories if nothing else, and once we're gone, those are gone too. It's a very bizarre and sad thought. We're programmed to live and to survive, and once we no longer have the choice it's a scary thing. The process. Death itself doesn't, since I am very comfortable in knowing that I will have no idea about anything once it is done. It is the process I am afraid of, the long drawn out, painful process where I lose myself, my mind or my faculties along the way. Not being able to tell so many online friends and such what has come of me, PSN, Xbox, SL, Discord act. No way anyone in my family could log in and figure out who I'd want to know. I'd worry they think I've just ghosted them, pun not intended, but so funny. I just finished The Sopranos a few months ago. It really stuck with me how just like that, it can be over. The way the absolute spontaneous of death can be just hit me with the way that series ended. I mean, it was messing with my dreams for weeks afterward. I think it is going to be like when you go into the hospital for a surgery and they put you under. No dreams, thoughts, memory of the incident, feeling. You are just out for the count, except you don't wake up in the recovery room. That's just end. Long and painful. I'm also scared of dying young. Before accomplishing everything I want to do in life. I'm pretty sure this is our only shot at life, at least in the sense we understand it, and I'm terrified of being another life not lived to the fullest. I don't fear death at all. It is the act of dying that I fear. The potential physical pain, discomfort, the fear of losing my faculties, losing my ability to care for myself, and the regrets I may feel for the things that I have, and have not yet done. That my consciousness will live on, somehow trapped in my rotting corpse buried in the dirt. I want to be cremated, obviously. I want to be dust, stardust. The idea that nothingness doesn't exist and that there will be something instead of nothing. Leaving my sons. We are all we have left. All of the family is gone. I lost my parents at a young age, they lost their mother. There's no one to be there if anything happens to me, they'll end up in foster care. I can't let that happen. That it's either a long painful death like burning alive or freezing to death. Or that there's some sort of afterlife. When I'm dead I don't want to exist for eternity. I just want it to be like falling asleep and never waking up, not being conscious. It dawned on me when I was a kid, that if death was truly like sleeping, I wouldn't be able to think. And that scares me, because I want to think. I could go on and on about other reasons, but that is my one. Possibly being burned to death somehow, maybe being trapped in a fire. But that's just pain. I've done so many cool and outrageous things in such a relatively short time, I really don't care if I die or not. No fear there for me, leaving my wife and kids behind mourning my death. Other than that I do not fear death. Death is just another stage of life. We don't ever die, we just leave this current meat suit and start all over again in a different life. That it will be met with my biggest fear. I'm trapped, no air and water is coming in. I recently had a dream about it, going over a cliff into water, and I'm in the back of a bus. I calmly thought, so this is how it ends. The panic and pain and the transition. The realization that it's happening and my heart racing harder as I make the inevitable journey that nobody can escape. But not knowing what the transition is, until I'm there.